everyone, I'm Alex from 20 Sides to Every Story. Welcome to the first creature feature, where I will be highlighting a D&D creature and giving you some history, some tactics, and some ideas for how to incorporate it into your campaign. Today we are going to be talking about the Bulette. Sometimes known as a land shark, the Bulette is a large creature that is heavily armored by an outer shell that is not unlike that of an armadillo. It has a huge, giant, voracious mouth that is analogous to that of a snapping turtle, which is perfect for devouring an unsuspecting adventurer. The Bulette is known to catch its victims off guard by burrowing underground, where they will emerge and pounce upon their prey. The original story of how the Bulette was invented as a creature for Dungeons & Dragons is quite interesting. According to former Dragon Magazine editor Tim Kask, the Bulette and several other iconic Dungeons & Dragons monsters were inspired by a bag of prehistorical animal figures that Gary Gygax had picked up from a dollar store. Apparently, toy collectors refer to these things as Chinosaurs, and they were the basis for some of the most memorable creatures in D&D lore, including the Rust Monster, the Umber Hulk, the Owlbear, and the Purple Worm. The Bulette subsequently made its first published appearance in the first issue of The Dragon in July 1976. It's actually quite fitting that the first monster that we have decided to showcase here is the Bulette, as it was actually the first to be featured under a column in that magazine called The Creature Feature. It was originally pronounced Bulette to make it sound more French. From my point of view, this explanation leaves a lot to be desired for two reasons. Particularly, Bulette doesn't sound very intimidating to me. It's also not how a French speaker would pronounce that word as written. So I'm going to stick to Bulette. Much of the original description of the Bulette was focused on its primary motivation, that being its appetite. By far its least favorite cuisine was elves, followed by dwarves due to their tough meat. They quite liked humans, but by far its favorite choice were halflings, which were the creme de la creme. This narrative gives you a kind of neat piece of creature RP that you can use to determine where is the Bulette going to focus its attacks, and gives you cover as a DM to target that annoying halfling in your party. The Bulette has an iron stomach and has no problem digesting the iron and steel that often accompanies the morsels of adventurers that it devours. Fortunately for adventurers, the Bulette is a solitary creature that only comes together with others of its kind for purposes of mating. Bulettes are thought to be creatures that hatch from eggs, though there is very little that is known about their life expectancy. According to the second edition Dungeons & Dragons Monster Manual, no adventurer has ever come across a carcass of a Bulette that has died of old age. In the original description of the Bulette, it is emphasized that these creatures are never found underground. It would seem that this original concept of the land shark has evolved over time and has gone from being a creature that roamed above ground in plains and hills to that we know from the version that was presented to us in the 5th edition Monster Manual, which is a creature that is predominantly an underground and cave-dwelling creature. Perhaps a Bulette has decided to lair near a settlement that is near and dear to the player characters, which has begun to cause problems for those traveling the road or hampering the success of some major event or a festival. This one is essentially the plot to a free adventure that you can find on DM's Guild called Bulette Storm. It's definitely a very fun one-shot, and I highly recommend you check it out. Another idea could be that a Bulette has impeded the progress of construction on a new mining tunnel. And you could have it that the dwarves have had to abandon this project because a dozen or so of their miners have been getting devoured by this creature. But They look to an adventuring party to go forth and slay the beast in return for riches, or perhaps even a share of the wealth produced from the mining tunnel. Bulettes are known for their tough hides, and that would make them a high commodity for certain armor smiths who could craft strong armors and shields from their outer plates. A specialty craftsman might be seeking out a group of adventurers to pay to bring back a Bulette hide, and maybe we'll even offer to craft them some complimentary goods if they would be willing to delve into a known Bulette den. What about the idea of domesticated Bulettes? In Princes of the Apocalypse, the Black Earth cult did just this through a magical gift given to their elite warriors by Ogremok. These elite warriors were called burrow sharks, and due to the gift given to them, these riders were even able to ride the Bulettes as it burrowed, making them quite terrifying. One of the ways that I think you can make an encounter with a creature more memorable, particularly one that is unintelligent and bestial in nature, like the Bulette, is to find ways that will make that individual creature unique. It should be something that is going to defy the expectations that your players have of the creature, while playing or building off of something that is iconic about it. With the Bulette, I think we have a number of ways to do just that. Yeah, but the primary thing that I think of is its armor. By default, we expect a Bulette to have hardened skin plates. But what if it had gems and other precious metals adhered to it from all of its time burrowing in a mineral-rich area? This is the kind of detail that could provide a clue about the environment, or unveil that the coal mine that the dwarves professed that they were building is actually for something much more. And perhaps in defeating it, the players realized that the reward that they were promised was actually of a much lesser value than the true value of their efforts. Maybe the creature has developed large bulbous tumors or growths underneath its plates, suggesting that there's something unnatural happening in the area of the land that it has been hunting. This would be an immediate interest to any druids in the party that are looking to heal and protect the natural environment from such things. Or perhaps its shell is custom fitted with iron, metal, or, if you're particularly evil, magic spell reflecting mirrors that suggest that it isn't merely a predator that is natural to the environment, but is the watchdog of some other nefarious entity. And let's end this with the easiest one. There is a Bulette that is larger, smarter, and more dangerous than any other Bulette imaginable. One that has left a string of corpses in its wake. The Bulette was able to demolish the cage that was employed by the villagers to try to trap it. Who will be able to stand up and put an end to this carnage? Cue alternating E and F notes. The way that I would structure an encounter with a Bulette in terms of its tactics is I would have it open up the battle by bridging the gap between itself and the player characters with its deadly leap. Knock a few of them prone, show them the immensity or the power of this creature. And then in the second round, have it attack one of the creatures or one of the players with a bite attack. Show them how much damage it can do in a round. Then on the third round, have it disengage and burrow right underneath their feet and lay in wait for the players. You can have some fun with this as you watch the characters desperately try to figure out and scheme ways of getting the high ground on the Bulette. Then, when it is good and ready, have the Bulette leap out at the squishiest, lowest hit point halfling that exists in the party and allow it the freedom to enjoy a tasty treat. If you really want to freak your players out, watch as it drops one of the characters unconscious, and then have the Bulette grab its body with its mouth and burrow underground. you'll see the dread pop up on the faces of your players as their friend has to make death saving throws without the normal convenience of the healer popping out a healing word to instantly stabilize them. It's tactics like these that are going to have your players sweating bullets. Alright, enough help for the Dungeon Masters. Players, how do you overcome the Bulette? Well, you're going to want to keep your low hit point characters as far away as possible, because the Bulette can deal an average of 30 hit points of damage in one round. Just imagine what that looks like if it were to get a critical hit on you. You would be in big trouble. If you got a ranger in the party, you can get some good mileage out of the Hunter's Mark spell by placing that on the Bulette, and that'll give you some sense of where the Bulette is as it burrows underneath your feet, giving you some time to perhaps plan or coordinate tactics with your group. If you are a spellcaster and you're kind of worried about getting one-shotted by this thing, if you got a fly spell or the means to get your feet off of the ground and hover in air, suggest you do it, because this will render its tremor sensibility useless. The best offense that you might have would be just to huddle up melee defensively around the tastier or weaker party members and ready some actions for when the Bulette reveals itself. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I'd encourage you to like it and please subscribe to the channel. Feel free also to comment and share your experiences with the Bulette, or perhaps your ideas for the next creature for us to feature. Until next time,